The Importance of 5 Aagnas, Part-03.
Vishal, then Meenakshi Trivedi.
Jai Sachitanand.
Go ahead.
I have the question written in there.
What have you written? I have attachment and abhorrence towards sticky files. What can I do to break my obstacles for satsang and financial well-being? Sticky file means the one with whom we have attachment and abhorrence. It is nothing new. The one with whom we have a lot of attachment and abhorrence, that is called a sticky file. So what should we do now? Don't see their faults, do pratikraman, see the pure soul in that person. And for the obstacles for coming to satsang and for financial well-being, do arti at home. Do Dada Bhagwan na asim jai jaikar ho for 15 minutes. If possible, do it for an hour, together as a family. Then your worldly obstacles will break. Do you understand?
Yes.
And for now, check in Samayik if you have hurt the other person, seen faults of others, or if you have looked at someone with a sexual intent. Focus on that for about 15 to 30 minutes daily in Samayik. By doing so, you will be able to clear a lot of garbage. Do you understand? Meenakshi Trivedi.
My question is, how can we be sure that we are progressing on the path to moksha?
When the state that is free from agitation and disturbance increases, when suffering decreases, when attachment and abhorrence decreases, when jagrati or awakened awareness increases, if there is a constant intent within, I want to become free, then all these are signs of progressing on the path to moksha. When nothing in this world tempts you, when you clear the files with equanimity, you let things go, when you devalue the relative. Earlier, we were moving forward with our illusory attachment. Now we are turning back from our illusory attachment and progressing towards moksha. That gets confirmed.
When we give exams in school and colleges, then we can be certain that we are progressing in the right direction. Similarly, in this path, how can we get certified or be sure of ourselves?
Yes, you can.
How can we do that?
The people around you will collectively give you a certificate. What does this Meenakshi Ben think of herself? She thinks she is something special. Let's not talk about her. So then we can understand that we have been given a certificate. They will say, she nags a lot.
The certificate that we get, should we try to improve it in any way?
So there are two ways to go about it. One is when people give us a certificate, and the other is, are we having any suffering when dealing with people in worldly interactions? If someone finds the slightest mistake, Meenakshi Ben, don't do this, this is wrong, how can you do this? Then you get depressed. So you can understand that you have failed. When any accusations come and equanimity is maintained, then understand that you have passed.
All right.
Yes, if someone points out a slight mistake and you get depressed, that means you have failed. Every time suffering arises, understand that you have failed. To pass, you will have to reappear for the exam, and when suffering does not arise and a state of naturalness and spontaneity prevails, then you are certified in that matter.
We can try to make some improvements in that as well, can we not?
The 5 Aagnas itself is the improvement. What else is there to improve? Follow the 5 Aagnas and reset them so that you can pass the exam. When are we considered passed? When we don't get affected by any of the relative things in this world. If someone insults us, someone accuses us, if we incur a loss, if something goes wrong, or if something gets lost, if we become free from all these effects, then we have passed, we have become certified.
Jai Sachidanand.
And don't come to me looking for a certificate. Whatever certificate your neighbors and your files give you, consider that as final. Pradeep, Gita Sunigra, Morbi. Go on.
Millions of salutations to Pujyashree. Jai Sachidanand. My question is, Pujyashree, I ask for forgiveness if my question sounds disrespectful or discourteous. In the Gnan Vidhi, there's a statement that every worldly phase is only a natural happening governed by scientific circumstantial evidences, vyavasthit, and there's no God overhead as the doer of it. Now this phrase, no God, it bothers me a lot. I feel, how can I say such a thing early in the morning? When I say the prayer of the 9 inner intent, there is so much peace that prevails in my mind. It's very beautiful. It talks about conducting my thoughts, speech, and action in a manner that is accepted by all viewpoints. But when I have to say this phrase, no God, then I feel, how can such words be spoken? I had taken Gnan from Niruma in November 2005. It has been 7 years since then. I do everything. I read Dada's Aptavani books. I watch satsang. I enjoy everything. But I'm not able to do this Gnan Vidhi. My mother says, why don't you read the Gnan Vidhi? Deepakbhai says that until you do the Gnan Vidhi, all the rest is of no use. However, it's difficult for me to say this phrase, no God. I have currently started reading the Gnan Vidhi. I tell myself, whatever it may be, I don't want to think much about it. Because in the Gnan Vidhi, Deepakbhai says, don't worry about the meaning of the words, just repeat what is being said. Even then within, it bothers me. This is because when I was a child, I had heard statements like, there is no God coming to check this. I'm a Patel from Kathiawar, a town in Saurashtra, Gujarat. The people from South Gujarat use very rough language. They talk like this. There's no God coming to check on you. There's no God coming. Sometimes they use such words to be disrespectful. So I was feeling a bit unnerved by it. Therefore, I asked this question.
Yes, no problem. He is a Patel. Dada is a Patel from Charotar district.
That's all fine, but...
Dada would say, every worldly phase is only a natural happening. In that, the phrase no God gives it more weight. There is no God overhead as the doer of it.
Yes, I understood that part.
The phrase no God overhead. Dada says that in the future, someone will try to investigate this phrase. Just like the phrase by Srimad Rajchandra, don't look for anything else. So it can be understood from the tone that this person is speaking the Kathiawadi language. And when Dada says, there is no God overhead governing all this, then we can understand that this person must be a Patel from the Charotar district. People will figure it out. Dada has revealed this entire science in his native language. Because who can be called a true Gnani? The one who reveals the entire science in his own language. Dada lived in the Charotar district of Gujarat. He was a Patel from Badran, so it is in that language. It is a natural, simple language. Dada has revealed the entire science in this language. So such words have come out naturally, and we have kept them intact.
Is it because he was trying to put weightage on the point? Is that why he used such words?
Yes, for emphasis, because he was a Patel from the Charotar district, and these words have weight. If you feel, who spoiled my things? There is no God overhead that can spoil your things. Nobody is your superior, says Dada.
Got it.
So this is such a huge deal. Not only does Dada give us the courage, but he also makes us fearless.
Right.
There is no God overhead. There is no superior over you. Only your mistakes and your blunders are your superiors. Dada says, we break the blunders for you. You have to remove the mistakes. So then, you are entitled to liberation. Dada has shown us such a simple path. It gives rise to a sense of confidence just by saying this. We are having such a hard time even saying these words. Can you imagine how powerful Dada must be? We feel saying no God is so bad. Hey, if you use it in the right place, then it can have the right meaning. In some places, it can have the wrong meaning.
Right.
We should take it in the right sense.
Yes, absolutely.
There is no God governing this. Means there is no doer in this world? It is such a big deal. Dada has said these words with such boldness. There is no God that is the creator of this world. If there was God sitting up there, he would punish us. The god of death would come on his bull and yank us away. There is no need to fear. Dada makes us fearless. Do you understand?
Many times you use the phrase, it is indeed like this. It is indeed like that.
That is special.
At that time, I do feel that you're trying to emphasize that point. That's for sure. However, because this relentlessness was arising within me, I would skip the word no God and replace it with there is no creator in my earlier days.
That's all right, but ultimately, if you say it as it is, then the subatomic particles within will tremble and leave.
Jai Sachidanand.
Gita Sonigra.
Jai Sachidanand.
Jai Sachidanand.
Dada Shri says that for 3 days I prevail in the absolute state as the self. So what is the importance of those 3 days?
The importance is not of those 3 days. The importance is of Dada's absolute state as a self. In those 3 days, there is no interference. Dada remains only in the applied awareness as the self. He dwells in the absolute self. When people do darshan of such a state, they benefit from the devotional viewing of such an absolute state. You benefit by doing darshan of such a state. You become that form. That is how it is.
But Dada remains in that state constantly, doesn't he? Then why are only those 3 days so important?
However, Dada says, when we have to interact with others, then at that time our degrees decrease. In that, if we talk about our family members, then they decrease further. If we talk about the self, then the degrees remain a bit higher. And during Gnan Vidhi, we are at the highest state. And second to that is Diwali. No, not Diwali. It is New Year's Day, his birthday, and Guru Purnima Day. On these days, Dada especially remains in the applied awareness as a self. So people get a greater benefit by doing darshan. That is the main reason.
Is there no religious importance to it?
There is no religious importance. It is not a religious, but a spiritual importance. If you see a diamond to be worth 5 million, then that's what it's worth. And if you think it is worth 25 million, then that is what it's worth. Dada says, for you Mahatmas, you can progress to the state that we have reached, but you cannot progress beyond that, because we have not seen the state that lies further ahead. Therefore, it cannot manifest in you. When you go to Mahavide Kshetra, to Simandar Swami, upon seeing the Lord, that state will manifest in you. You will forget the worldly life. There will be eternal bliss and infinite happiness, and you will attain the state of absolute knowledge. If the Tirthankar lords were present in this era of the time cycle, then quite a few of our Mahatmas would have attained the state of absolute knowledge. So the state that lies beyond, when Dada converses with people, at that time he says, our state within is not a state where there is complete oneness with Dada Bhagwan. There is some difference. We remain as the knower and seer of that speech. During satsang, the state is a bit lower. Whereas on those 3 days, Dada is especially one with the self. He prevails in that form and gives darshan to everyone. That is called the ultimate kind of darshan. People used to come running for that darshan. And here as well, we make the same kind of arrangements. Connect with Dada from within and ask for energies. Recall the absolutely detached state of Dada and ask for energies. You will get all the energies that are needed for ultimate liberation from Dada. Hitesh Patel, Bhumika Soni.
The spiritual effort that begins after this Gnan, I read somewhere that one is not aware of the spiritual effort that is happening. It happens naturally. So what does naturally mean? Does it mean in its own inherent nature or...
No, there are two kinds of efforts. One is the illusory effort and the other is the real spiritual effort. Illusory effort means to not be aware of one's own self. He believes, I am Hitesh. Then he has intents, I don't want this and I want this. That is all illusory effort.
No, I'm talking about the real spiritual effort.
The real spiritual effort that is happening naturally is meant in a different sense. For example, when you come to this satsang, then as a byproduct, the real spiritual effort keeps on happening. If the entire town is of Mahatmas, then when they meet each other, they say, Jai Sachidanand, Jai Sachidanand. So automatically the real spiritual effort continues to happen. We have not exactly made that spiritual effort, but we benefit from being in this environment. We benefit from the collective strength of the company of people with the same goal.
So that is the effort of following the fifth Aagna.
Yes, it is the effort of following the fifth Aagna. You stayed in the crowd of Mahatmas.
This effort continues in our sleep as well.
It can continue during sleep as well. Continue during sleep means you went to sleep saying, I am pure soul, I am pure soul. Then at night, you can see what is happening in the relative self. If there are any dreams that come, you can see those. You can see those by remaining as the self.
The strong resolve that is needed to do the spiritual effort, is the spiritual effort an attribute of the non-self?
No, it is not an attribute of the non-self. The spiritual effort is of the real self. It is one's own strong, unflinching determination that I want to set this, I want to follow this, I want to follow the 5 Aagnas. Because of one's own strong determination, when the Aagnas are followed, that is called the spiritual effort of the real self.
What about the resolve that we make?
It is the effort done by Prajna Shakti, or the direct light of the self. There is the strength of Prajna Shakti in it. The effort that is done in the state of ignorance of the self is through the energy of ignorance, through the intellect and the ego, and it forms a design for the next life. Whereas through spiritual effort, ultimate liberation is being unveiled. The developing eye experiences the freedom through this real spiritual effort.
If we ask for energies for our weaknesses in doing the spiritual effort, will the result of that come now or?
Yes. When you ask for the energies heartily and with oneness, then they will manifest sooner. If there are 10 old layers, then they will break, and then the 11th layer will be this. These energies will manifest.
During the day, there are all kinds of kashais that continue to happen, and none of them get cleaned. So what about all of those? What happens to all of that?
They will remain pending.
It will remain pending?
Why don't you at least clean it up at the gross level? If you harm someone or hurt someone, tell Hitesh to wash it off. You can wash off your part later. That can be done the next day. Do it later. But to hurt someone is a grave danger, because the other person can bind vengeance. He can stop us from attaining liberation. He can cause obstacles for us.
It gets noticed, but the process that needs to be done for it remains incomplete. Call it my laziness or carelessness.
Yes, so you should make a dog chase Hitesh, so he will run really fast. You must show him some fear. Look at you, look at your behavior. You will lose out on everything, don't you understand?
Yes, I can converse with file 1 in this manner.
Yes, you need to scold him a bit. Why are you so fond of the bed that you keep laying in it? Be awake and alert and get your work done for ultimate liberation. If you miss out, then who will save you? You should scold him a little in this way. You have been lazy for countless lifetimes. You have acted according to your own will and intellect. You acted based on your understanding and your arrogance. You dwelled in the intoxication of eating, drinking, watching, and traveling. Become alert and make the effort for attaining ultimate liberation. If you spend one lifetime doing this sincerely, then you can make up for the countless lifetimes of laziness. You must put in a little effort.
So if all this remains pending, then
it will come in the next lifetime for sure.
I can see it, but I don't work towards it. So then I feel disgusted towards file 1.
There is no need to feel disgusted towards him. Make him strong. You don't want to remove your laziness, and you want to get upset with file 1. How is it file 1's fault? It is a spinning top. The fault is your lack of understanding. Become strong in that.
Then, many times we have discussed about keeping separation with file 1 in satsang. We should keep separation so that it does not lead to depression or disgust. But that gets misused, and then the laziness keeps on increasing, such that all this belongs to file 1 and it is his prakriti. The prakriti is separate and I am separate from it. All such things continue to happen.
All that is fine. But has Dada kept a rule that allows us to hurt others? That it's okay to hurt others?
No.
Or to see faults of others? Does that need to be washed off or not? Why be lazy in that? And why keep that pending? Did you not understand?
I understood.
Think over it.
Jai Sachidanand.
Bhumika Ben Soni and Dinesh Koti from ATPL.
Jai Sachidanand.
Go ahead.
I've written my question in there.
Read your question.
I have hurt a lot of people. I do pratikraman for it. Even then the sufferings arise.
Don't worry about the suffering, but are you doing pratikraman?
Yes.
Then the suffering will decrease. Has it decreased a little? You feel a bit lighter, don't you?
Yes, I do. But I feel there is still something remaining within.
Wash off what you can find. The rest will be seen later.
Okay.
Don't feel burdened by it.
And when I am in satsang, then I am able to maintain the jagrati. But once I go home, things go back to what they were.
But you mentioned that pratikraman is being done. You are doing pratikraman, so jagrati is indeed there.
Yes.
It is such that if there are too many faults, then too many will come out. Gradually, they will keep on decreasing and end one day. Do you understand? You are on the right path.
Jai Sachidanand.
From your side, you should spend half an hour to an hour to wash off all the mistakes that happened during the day and mistakes that happened in the past. Spend time in washing your mistakes. Then you will progress a lot.
Yes.
Manjuben Navadia, Dinesh Goti.
Jai Sachidanand, Pujyashree.
Go on.
From the 5 Aagnas, the 5th Aagna of crediting the account of pure soul. In that, not to hurt anyone, not to hurt anyone's ego, to have speech that's universally accepted. The prayer of the 9 inner intents. Is all this included in the 5th Aagna?
As such, everything is included in the 5th Aagna. But the main thing in the 5 Aagnas is, what does the 5th Aagna tell us? To prioritize the self. We may have a job or a business, but spend at least an hour for satsang, because the 5th Aagna has been mainly given so that we remain in satsang. Follow the 5 Aagnas, remain in satsang, read Dada's books, and the Vidhis and Pratikraman, all that is included in the 5th Aagna. It is such that even I was trying to find out the mystery behind this. Then I found it in one place. Someone asked Dada, Dada, were you following the 5 Aagnas? Dada said, Someone asked Dada, how did you credit the account of the pure soul? He responded, we don't need to credit the account of the pure soul. The day the Gnan manifested within, that was the end of everything. We had the clear and distinct experience of the self. It is then that it made sense to me. This conviction has set in for us. Now, if we keep crediting the account of the pure soul, then we will reach the state of the clear and distinct experience of the self. What is to be credited? What are we trying to credit into the account of the pure soul? We want to reach the experienced state. That is the state we want to reach.
So when we credit the account of pure soul, do the other 4 Aagnas get included in that?
It definitely will. It is based on the Aagnas. The 5th Aagna means to remain in satsang, do the Vidhis, read Dada's books, and follow the Aagnas. That is the 5th Aagna. Some say, I am following the 5 Aagnas, so what is the need for me to go to satsang? No, by listening to satsang, by remaining in this atmosphere of satsang, the veils of ignorance that lie ahead will break, and your energies to progress further will increase.
To not hurt anyone, what about that?
That is included in the morning prayer.
Yes, we say that in the morning prayers, but it also helps us to remain in the Aagnas, doesn't it?
Yes, it does help. It is like this. The worldly interaction that had gone bad, that rotten worldly interaction causes a lot of damage. For example, instead of sitting in a train going to Mumbai, if you sit in a train going to Delhi, then will you reach Mumbai?
No.
So if the worldly interactions are free of kashai, the other one is the worldly interactions filled with kashai. If the worldly interactions are filled with kashai, then the self gets spoiled. For the one whose worldly interactions are spoiled, then his self also gets affected. If the worldly interactions are free of kashai, for the one whose worldly interactions improve, then the self also improves. If you are dishonest in your business, if you sell adulterated goods and then keep talking about the self, then those veils will obstruct you because you are cheating a living person. You are harming that soul, so your soul will be harmed. If you recognize the real self, then the question of cheating someone, harming someone, does not arise at all. Because he is a pure soul, just like me.
When we get in a clash with someone, then we're not able to see the pure soul in that person.
There are 2 parts in a clash. To not clash is our strong determination, and the clash that happens is due to the unfolding karma. We cannot control something that happens. After it happens, do pratikraman and make a strong resolve to not repeat that mistake again. Maintain jagrati so as to not repeat that mistake again. The main point that Dada is making is that if the worldly interactions are spoiled, then it will create a hindrance. So we can understand that we are at the 700-mile marker. As the spoiled worldly interactions decrease, then we can understand that we have come to the 300-mile marker.
Correct.
So you will indeed have to turn back from all the negative interactions that are there. And in exactness, there is a need for ideal worldly interactions. Even the people around you will agree, Dineshbhai is quite different. He is a clean man with a good heart. These are the kind of echoes that fall upon the people around you. And further than that, they perceive you as having become a Gnani. This Dineshbhai can definitely be called a Gnani. He is a very revered man. When you get such a certificate from people, then know that your worldly interactions, all that was rotten is gone.
Alright. Jai Sachidanand.
Manjuben Navadia, Ramanbai Raval.
Jai Sachidanand.
Go ahead.
My question was from the Charan Vidhi. It says in there, in knowing infinite objects, infinite phases arise, yet I am completely and totally pure. My matter is such that I am completely and totally pure. I don't understand the meaning of that.
Until now you believed, I am Manjuben. Then you believed, I am Manjuben, I am his wife. This is how I should behave as a wife. I am the mother of my son. This is how I should behave as a mother. You were engrossed in that worldly interaction and you were trying to improve the worldly interaction. Now you came into the awareness that in reality, I am a pure soul. For example, if there is a golden bangle, and if it says, I am a bangle and this ring is my sister, this chain is my mother-in-law, if it keeps on talking like this all day long, we live in the same box, then would you not say, please try to understand, you are gold. What will the goldsmith teach it? You are gold. Just like that, this wrong belief has set in. I am this person's sister, I am this person's mother, I am this person's daughter, and I am her aunt. We believed the relative to be the truth, so we were going in the wrong direction. And to hold on to that truth, we were getting into attachment and abhorrence. To maintain our reputation, we yell at the child to improve him. By walking in the wrong direction, kashai were arising. Now, in this right direction, we want to understand what we really are, our real form. So we say, my matter is such that I am completely and totally pure. Just like the bangle, I am gold and I am only pure gold. Then due to my attributes of knowledge and vision, I am completely and totally pure. One's knowledge and vision have not been spoiled. The infinite knowledge, infinite vision, infinite bliss, infinite strength have not been spoiled. Just as the eye is not spoiled, but if there is pressure on the eye, then you will see two candles. Similarly, the belief of the developing eye has been spoiled. The vision as the self has been spoiled. Because the vision as the self has spoiled, then due to the wrong understanding, we went in the wrong direction. So now, we want to return to the original vision. Due to my attributes of knowledge and vision, I am completely and totally pure. And the third sentence is, in knowing infinite objects, infinite phases arise, yet I am completely and totally pure. Just like in a movie theater, on the screen there are different scenes. The person who is the seer and knower of those scenes does not get spoiled. There may be scenes of people dancing, people crying, people dying, people getting married. In seeing and knowing that, the state of the person watching those scenes changes, but the person does not get spoiled. Similarly, through this knowledge, we know and see the objects of this world that are to be known and seen. But in knowing and seeing, our purity does not get spoiled. The self is pure in every way, by its matter, by its properties, and by its phases. These three sentences are given to remain in this Jagrati. The more you keep applying this, your Jagrati, say you walked in the wrong direction for 20 miles, then when you turn back, you will come to the 19th mile, then the 18th mile, because you are coming back. The biggest goal of the sentences in Gnan Vidhi is that the more you say them, that many veils of ignorance keep decreasing, and your Jagrati keeps on blossoming. Do you understand?
Yes. My second question was that I had heard Niruma say this in her answer to some lady's question on television, that if you have taken anesthesia, then you need to redo the Gnan Vidhi.
You can sit for the Gnan Vidhi again if you have undergone complete anesthesia.
All right. Jai Sachidanand.